You are the most wonderful baby doll I've ever seen. Wait! Baby doll? The topic for this vlog is about the happiness in the choir. Yay! The happiness in the choir. Oh! What makes choir conductors feel about having an autistic chorister in the choir? Well, some choir conductors are just fine dealing with it, then some choir conductors are not. Let's face it. Well, I will give you some small handful advices to make you happy and encouraging to deal with autistic choristers like me. Okay, I will give you top five fantastic ways to inspire an autistic chorister, or it could be applied to other disabilities like Down syndrome, cerebral, ADHD, blind, deaf, etc., so forth. But first, we'll focus first on the autistic, because it's neurologically a condition where there are possible symptoms like speaking difficulties, learning difficulties, reading disabilities, and communication disabilities, and sometimes it can lead to nonverbal. Just to give you a short summary about autism. So, number one, this is the most important to do. You have to ask a person with autism, what was the background of it? What's the history? What's the diagnosis? So the diagnosis here is when you were diagnosed and where you were assessed. Let's say you were assessed by a psychologist or a pediatrician in your younger age. So this is a very important thing to do. You cannot just ignore this person. The reason why this person cannot understand what instructions you're giving, that's the most important. You have to talk to this autistic individual. If this autistic individual cannot speak, you have to talk to the parents of this person. You have to talk to the parents. Parents are very important people in this individual with autism. Keep in mind, the parents, especially the parents who has a large knowledge about the child's condition, autism, or any disability, you have to talk to them fervently and in detail. What are the weaknesses, the strengths, and what are the goals of this person with autism? Should this person have the achievement to do whatever they pleased or something like that? Okay, so much for the number one. Then number two, speaking of number one, if you cannot stand number two, you have to prefer number one. Number two is instruct them precisely. Let's say if this individual cannot really stand on note reading, because there are so many people, there's so many autistic people into reading disability, then give them instructions, instruct them, give them a free time reading technique, music reading technique, not just the text technique, but not just the text reading technique, but it's both musical and text technique. So what is the musical reading technique? So the musical reading technique is reading your notes, reading the value of it, reading the dynamics, reading the rhythmic patterns, and the time signature itself. So you're also doing the ear training for this individual. The second one is the text. How did they pronounce it? How they will read it? How they will deliver the phrasing of this text? That's the text technique. So number two, that's the one I've told you, the reading of the music and the text. Doing the techniques, one-on-one techniques with this individual. Then the other other thing that you can do, if this person wants to learn before your rehearsals, before the choir, before the service, for the performance, you have to give this person a one-on-one session for practicing their part. Let's say practicing their own parts in a choir piece or an anthem, an offertory, etc., etc., or in a hymn. That will help them overcome their anxiety. That's very true. Number 3, the third. You have to disclose their disability within the choir. Why disclosing? This is not what most of the choirs are doing. Let this individual disclose it to the choir to avoid misinterpretations of the gestures that he or she delivers. Or, not all people can understand, but as a choir, you have to blend in spiritually and in characteristically. Why disclosing? Let's say myself, during the first day of my choir name, school choir, or those people who do not know me in the choir, I disclose it loud and proud to avoid misinterpretations and misunderstandings. Like, I am a person with autism and I'm proud of it. You should end with the words, I am proud of it, because you owned it forever. Do not take it in a negative manner, but you have to disclose it in a positive manner. Let's say, I am Velbaria and I am a person with autism and I am proud of it. When people said why, I'm proud of it. That's me. Yeah. That's number 3. And then number 4 is disclosing. Speaking of disclosing, you have to learn get along. For autistic people, the choir conductors should really encourage this autistic individual. Encourage them to learn, encourage them to study hard for the pieces. Encourage them to learn the pieces and encourage to learn music. Because those autistic people, honestly, excelling in music. They can do it. They have the commitment to the music. Just keep in mind that those people who are autistic are committed to everything they wanted. Okay? If they cannot really, let's face it, there are some autistic people cannot really progress quickly. There's some can progress quickly, there's some are just in between. Yeah? So encouragement is the key to consistent commitment to for these autistic individuals in the choir. So number 5, you do not forget it, but speaking of the encouragement, let them do their job, because they only have one job to do, and that is being in the choir without much arguments, quarrels, and too much stress in the choir. So if not all choir members can understand their chorister with autism, let the choir conductor tell it. Or let the individual who has autism tell it honestly. Honesty is the most important in the choir. No matter how good the choir is, but the character is not good, but the character is not there, nothing will happen great or nothing will happen good if that character is missing. So I am very happy going back to my experience with the choir. I am happy for my choir conductors whom I've been with. I'm happy for their opening doors for an autistic chorister like me, and I'm happy for their encouragement, and I'm happy for they are open, and as I've seen in their eyes, I've seen in their minds, they never judged it. They never judged me for who I am, and I am a proudly autistic, and of course I would truly commit to to join in as I advocate the choral music in the autism advocacy. And I've also dreamt to become the conductor. I've also dreamt to become a choir conductor if that happens in the right time. Hope will those 5 rules, simple rules of dealing a autistic chorister will help you feel the love of an individual with autism, and you will feel the less pressure when dealing with autistic people in the choir music, in the choral industry, in the choral music. So much for the talk, and this has been Velbaya, now signing off.